we are joined by our final company of the evening, Stockomendation, and Stockomendation CEO, Paul Roberts. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Great pleasure. Good evening.
Thank you.
Evening.
And we have a fun fact about you. Apparently your head office is located in a very old 17th century church with the graveyard.
Yeah. It's we're not sure whether we're blessed by God by having our business within a very old church up in North Wales where our main development centre is, or whether we're kind of being spooked out by what's going on outside. In fact, an interesting other fact that goes alongside that is our postcode is LL32HL, and people do remind us that 2HL does mean sort of to hell. So we've got to be a little bit careful. We've got a lot of spiritual stuff going on in relation to our head office. It's a beautiful environment though, it's stunning. It's got some wonderful sort of stained glass windows. It's a very inspiring place for the team to work, and it's a high-tech office, which you wouldn't know from the outside. But you walk in, you go, wow, it's incredible.
Anyway,
so yeah, the team love it.
Good to be inspired.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you ready to pitch?
I am.
Great, you've got 10 minutes.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so Stockomendation. So if you're thinking of TripAdvisor for travel, you think of Money Supermarket for insurance, you need to start thinking about Stockomendation for stock tips. So a common question for most people when you're wanting to invest in stocks and shares for the average individual investor is, who should I trust and who should I follow? And what Stockomendation does as a platform is a big data platform using AI methodologies that supports and allows individual investors and retail investors to find out who are good advice givers, who are the good stock pickers, who are the good stock tipsters, who are the good analysts you should put your hard-earned money behind. Also, banks, brokers, financial media players and platforms need a reach to the retail investor and spend a fortune in relation to reactivations, marketing and client engagement. So as a technology company, as a financial media technology business, Stockomendation gives reach to all of these businesses and a B2B level out to the retail investor and the equity investors. It's a global play. We have used the UK as our a beta market. The technology is tried, it's tested, the model is validated, and in the UK the market is roughly 4 million trading accounts, of which about 400,000 or so are very, very active, and about sort of 80% of the UK market trading accounts are reasonably inactive. So Stockomendation will help stimulate trading activity and make trading activity more successful for equity investors. Our business model is very much based around the international opportunity that we have. So we have a B2C model, we have a B2B model. The B2B model is monetized very much through premium services, which we're launching in fact this week, and your more general sort of advertising model. The B2B model is whereby banks, brokers, financial media houses license our tech and install it into their own platforms to create engagement, to improve trading flow, and to create more trading, successful trading for their own investors. So the problem, as you can see, is very much that retail investors are time poor. They spend hours looking at publications and websites looking for good advice, but they still don't know which advice to trust, because they don't know what the track record of individuals is. Stockomendation is a platform that finally provides that in equities. In the institutional space, this has been happening for funds for many years, but we are the first to actually provide this as a platform. Financial publishers need reach, as I've explained, and investment advisors, banks, brokers and trading platforms are looking to stimulate trade, stimulate traffic and create engagement on their platforms. Stockomendation sits in the middle of all of these three needs. And with this, we are the solution to the problem using predictive analytics, and we're making sense out of the qualitative noise in the market, and we're putting a quantitative aspect into that through our big data platform that's coming out with a sort of a simple solution and pointing people in the right direction in relation to how they can create a successful trade and to make investing more successful for themselves. So we have a successful management team. I myself have started previously, I've done a startup before in cloud services, exited successfully to a PLC. I did an MBO as well with that company. And now we've raised just over £1 million over the last few years into the company. We're reaching our monetization model now, so clients are coming in. We have over 8,000 members using the platform, and we've recently recruited our COO, who's been involved in the city for over 20 years, from Lehman's, Deutsche Bank and Peel Hunt, and also our chairman, Gaines Bentley, is a very well-known NED and strategic advisor, and we have some big hitters involved with the business. So we harvest, we collate, we analyse, we track, we score, we rank, and we publish. And we give retail investors a much better chance of being successful in their investing strategies. So the top 10 snapshots you can see listed on the pitch here. One of those being, of course, is that we're a multi-award-winning FinTech 50 platform. We also are very proud of that fact, and it's put us right in the middle of the fintech world. We see ourselves as a technology play, a media play, and a financial services platform, and a force for good. We also have an innovation grant from the UK government and a knowledge transfer partnership with Vang University. We have the top 3 banking and finance academic institute in the UK. And we're building new products and services in relation to support the analytics on our platform. So it's a global market opportunity. There are hundreds of millions of retail investors around the world. Our platform is very modular, so we can launch in every single market as we choose, as we can, and as funding allows, and as the model will allow us to scale. Hence, this being a funded process at this earlier stage of the business, although we're just hitting monetization now. Key European markets, the rest of the world, as you can see in the pitch deck, which is downloadable from the Intelligent Crowd TV platform and also from our Seeders campaign. And it talks a little bit more about how we take what's known as our stock tip engine, the data which is aggregated, which is used AI methodologies to get the sort of noisy data through our engine to come out with an element at the back end which makes sense to an investor to say, look, these are the guys to follow, these are the guys to trust, these are the guys that are doing well in investing. Forget everybody else, just follow these guys and you're going to make some money out of them. Everyone's time poor, and people want to make money. So we haven't got a lot of time sort of to do all of the research, and most of us don't fully understand how to read a Tesco's balance sheet anyway. So we do look to our trusted advisors to give us the advice and to take us in the right direction. But unless you know how good those trusted advisors are and what their track records are, then you are very much sort of whistling in the wind and taking on faith people's track records. So we are a platform that creates accountability, transparency. We create trust, and with trust you create more successful trading, and with more successful trading you create wealth for all. So it's a very democratic wealth management platform. And it actually sits in the middle of wealth management, where they say, do you need a wealth manager? Do you need an advisor to tell you which stocks and shares to buy? If you can go into a platform and see the 20 best stock pickers in every market in the world and see which sectors they're good at and what their successful investments have been in the last 3, 4, 5 years and what they're looking to do moving forward. You don't need to have expensive wealth managers in order to help you with your investment strategies. What you need is Stockomendation, and then what you need is a low-cost execution platform sitting off the back of that, and you have a very successful investing strategy yourself. So we've also gamified the process of making stock tips, which is really good fun. It's really interesting, and this is a unique crowdsourced investing trading alpha platform. And financial markets businesses, brokers and banks are starting to now license this and engage us into their own platforms. These guys have the huge user bases that they built up over many, many decades. We have the technology, we have the ideas, and we have the flexibility as a fintech to deploy these new ideas. And we are hooking in our ideas with their customer bases, creating engagement, additional trading flow, more fun, and reactivations of their dormant accounts. So we're a technology company.
Yes, thank you, Paul. I think you got the world cover there. We do have a video for you, so we'll show you that now.
Okay, thank you.
Think TripAdvisor for travel, Money Supermarket for insurance. I think Stockomendation for stock tips.
We all get tips from lots of people. We really don't know if that opinion's good or not.
What Stockomendation allows me to do is see which tipsters have performed historically well.
Great thing about Stockomendation is it offers something completely unique over and above anything else that's out there on the market at the moment.
It's an essential tool for any investor.
We couldn't find anything better in the market except Stockomendation.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Well, thank you.
Eddie, our fintech expert, have you got some questions for Paul?
So, Paul, I mean, there are other sites, obvious ones that do follow. People follow the best stock pickers. What are your USPs? What you haven't talked about competitors here.
Sure.
So why are you better, basically?
Which other sites are you talking about?
eToro, I don't know.
Okay, eToro. So there's one sort of main monster in the room these days called eToro, which is a social investing platform that started out very much in the process of sort of currencies and is morphing into equities. There is no competitor, natural competitor for what we do, certainly in the UK and Europe. Because what we are doing is we are aggregating public domain data or research house data that is given to us. And then we're putting this through our stock tip engine. We're coming out using our quantitative tool sets, which are developed by, say, the Bangor University PhDs and much cleverer people than I hasten to add, who give our league ranking system, which will rank people into to top to bottom of success and which sectors they operate in and what they're good at and what they're not good at. The difference between us and eToro is that eToro is a closed shop social investing environment whereby what they're wanting to do is to get every single user in the world to come onto the eToro platform. What we're doing is, as a fintech, is we are using our technology to help the banks, the brokers, and the financial media players and the other trading platforms that have still the largest user bases going. We're helping those people not to bleed people to eToro. We're saying to them, well, look, engage with our technology, use our intelligent data solutions such as installing APIs into your portfolios and watch lists and alert systems so you can get sort of more engagement and more trading from your platform. But then also use tools such as the unique stock picking game, stock tipster game, to engage the tail that doesn't in your platforms that doesn't sort of trade particularly much, to re-engage activations and use your community to talk to you, to start giving you their ideas and to give you their stock picks. So essentially, what we do is we build mini eToros for the brokers that are struggling in many ways to keep some of their user base engaged with their platforms, and then motivate the traders or the clients that don't really trade very often to trade more. And they're still the largest part of the market. Most brokers will have about 20% of their client base trading regularly. The rest they spend most of their time trying to reactivate them and get them to do small amounts of trading, or at least to move.
And how core is data to this, or AI?
It's all about data. This is about intelligent use of data. The stock market is a scary place if you're a retail investor. I started this company on the basis of the fact that I was a retail investor who knew nothing what I was doing. So like most people, you lose money, you take the pain and you try and learn through the process. So Stockomendation came as an idea when I thought, hang on a second, I can't find the track record of these analysts. I was given some very bad advice and by a broker and lost at the time a lot of money. I couldn't get the track record of the individual. The broker wouldn't give it me. So I think there's got to be something wrong here. You get those in funds, the institutions have this, and they've had it for years. But retail investors, us the large tail in the market, who everybody now is starting to try to get to, the only platform currently in the UK market that does this is Stockomendation. So it's revolutionary for equity investors, and we can modulise what we do, and we can launch this in every single market around the world. The other thing is with MiFID II, there's been a big change in research. So research is falling out of the city in all sorts of different guises and different ways. So people are now, the research houses are saying to us, look, you've got the reach to market. You're getting a great reach to market because you aggregate everything. You're agnostic, and you're also, you're transparent with everything you do. You don't, we don't favour one person. It's just, the numbers don't lie. They're giving us the research, saying, well, look, we'll give you our research. We're really good. We'd like to become accountable and transparent. We'd like to create the trust with the retail investor, and you've got the reach. So, let's all work together. So the message it's taken a while to do, but the message is certainly got to market. It's changing the market, and we aim to change the nature of how stock tips are made. Recommendations, advice is given globally to retail investors to make things more successful for everybody.
Yeah. So Paul, you seem to be one of the few people that MiFID II has actually helped.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a help and hindrance. I mean, this year, let's say, dealing with large organisations is quite painful at times. And what we realised, we started this out as a B2C platform. We thought, crikey, this is going to take us 100 years to make any money out of, when you were going to go through your models and you keep going through and thinking, and you scratch your head, and then you pivot until you find your right niche. So we have a very successful B2C platform with over 8,000 members using our service now, and that's growing daily. And a great example, the other night we had 50 retail investors just sign up from nowhere. Things like that happen, it's great. I see the name of every single person that signs up to the platform. But then, of course, so then the other side of things is that the GDPR, MiFID II, and all of these directives that have been coming from the European Union and from our financial systems have caused a lot of carnage, in the sense that people have had to understand what their business models are, where the banks are going to go, where the brokers are going to go, what research you can say, what you can't say, yada, yada, yada. And in a sense, we've become a free regulatory platform. The FCA could use our platform and say, look, everyone put your stock picks and your recommendations through Stockomendation. It's a ready-made regulatory platform, and you get full visibility of what's going on in the market. So MiFID II's worked for us in the sense that it's moved through, but the other side of things is that it's been a bit of a hindrance, because it's taken 2 years to get GDPR and MiFID II out of the way.
Well, thank you, Paul. That's what they want, though, isn't it, to protect the investors? And
Absolutely. Well, that's what we're all about. Yeah.
Well, that's all we've got time for today.
No problem.
Sorry. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you, Paul.
Cheers.
And thank you to all the other companies that came on tonight. If you'd like to find out anything more about any of them, you can do so on the crowdfunding platforms.